Good morning, everyone. How are you? So today I thought I would share something with you as a result of my cleaning up my bookshelf. So as I was cleaning up my bookshelf, I came across an old book by my friend Amit Goswami, and it's called The Self-Aware Universe, How Consciousness Creates the Material World. As I said, the book is pretty old, but it's still very relevant. Amit Goswami is a very good friend of mine, and he's also been a professor of quantum mechanics and physics at the University of Oregon. And so I just want to read to you a little bit from the preface of his book, which is called The Self-Aware Universe, How Consciousness Creates the Material World. And so he starts off by saying, when I was a graduate student studying quantum mechanics, a group of us would spend hours discussing such esoterica as, can an electron really be at two places at the same time? I could accept that, yes, the electron can be at two places at the same time. The message of quantum mathematics, although full of subtlety, is unambiguous on this point. Does an ordinary object, however, a chair, a desk, things that we call real, behave like an electron? Does it become a wave and start spreading in the wave's inexorable way when no one is looking? So what applies to a material object also applies to your own physical body, because after all, your body is an experience in consciousness, but the experience itself is that of a material object. So let's go back to very basics. And now that I have my friend here, Alexa, what is Schrodinger's wave function?
Erwin Rudolf Joseph Alexander Schrödinger, sometimes written as Erwin Schrödinger or Erwin Schrödinger, was a Nobel Prize-winning Austrian physicist who developed a number of fundamental results in the field of quantum theory, which formed the basis of wave mechanics. He formulated the wave equation and revealed the identity of his development of the formalism and matrix mechanics.
Well, unless you're an expert, you probably don't fully get what Alexa said. Alexa, what is the measurement problem in quantum mechanics?
I don't know that.
What is the measurement problem? Alexa, what is the measurement problem?
The measurement problem in quantum mechanics is the problem of how wave function collapse occurs.
Okay, so I'm looking at my computer, and here is how it describes. Similar to what Alexa said, the measurement problem in quantum mechanics is the problem of how or whether wave function collapse occurs. The inability to observe this process directly has given rise to different interpretations of quantum mechanics and poses a key set of questions that each interpretation must answer. The point being made by all these authorities is that the calculations of quantum mechanics work very well, but the interpretations of quantum mechanics lead to many conundrums. There are more than 20 interpretations as of now. However, as we probe deeply into the nature of matter, any physical object, including our own body, then we end up, of course, with particles. And one of the things that is posed by the measurement problem is that prior to measurement, particles don't exist as particles. They exist as probability waves. and they exist as probability waves in an infinite dimensional space, usually referred to as Hilbert space. So, of course, Hilbert space is not space in the sense that we usually think of space. It has infinite dimensions, or some people say 0 dimensions. But this Hilbert space, infinite dimensional or 0 dimension, houses the wave function. So, Alexa, what is a wave function?
A wave function in quantum physics is a mathematical description of the quantum state of an isolated quantum system. The wave function is a complex valued probability amplitude, and the probabilities for the possible results of measurements made on the system can be derived from it.
Thank you, Alexa. That was very enlightening. So basically, when you get to the most fundamental nature of particles, the only way to describe these particles is in terms of mathematical equations and mathematical relationships of probability waves, which upon measurement turn out to be particles. Pretty bizarre, because a particle has units of mass and energy, but a wave has no units of mass and energy. And what is being said by a lot of these people, not everyone, is that when a wave is not being looked at, when a particle is not being looked at, it turns into a wave of possibilities or probabilities. And these are not material entities. Waves of probabilities are just possibilities, and where could they be other than in, right now, mathematical imagination or mathematical consciousness? But a lot of us believe that these possibility waves exist as fundamental reality, and that fundamental reality is consciousness itself, that you as a conscious being are not a material entity, but a potential for experience as mind, body, and perception. But all these experiences are actually consciousness modifying itself into that which we call me and other. So consciousness creates subject-object split as a result of self-interaction. Infinite being interacts with itself to create the ego, body, mind identity. But infinite being cannot be squeezed into the volume of a body or the span of a lifetime. That's a perceptual trick in Eastern wisdom traditions called Maya. Maya, the veil, the measurement, the matter, the material, the meter of measurement, including space-time and causality. That space-time and causality are actually emergent phenomena as experience as a result of self-interaction. And the self-interaction is the infinite acting on itself. You are the infinite being interacting with itself to produce the body, mind, ego identity with its perceptual apparatus that is interpreted as the material world. In reality, consciousness is modifying itself into species-specific perceptions, and we humans interpret those in consciousness as well as matter. creating the experience of separation. And once that experience occurs of separation, then we start to identify with the body-mind, which is actually a fluctuating perceptual experience. And therefore this identification is in a sense a false identification, because it's a fluctuating process, not a thing. But that creates the wheel of samsara and the confusion that arises by experiencing ourselves as material objects and experiencing the world as material objects. Because in reality, at the most fundamental level of being, and I have talked to many physicists about this, they at least agree on one thing, that fundamental reality has no borders, has no boundaries, that boundaries are conceptual and notional. They are the mistake of the intellect. In Sanskrit, that is called pragya aparad. Aparad means mistake, pragya, mistake of the intellect. So once that mistake of the intellect is made and the confusion arises, the confusion that I am an entity that is squeezed into the volume of a body in the span of a lifetime, then that confusion creates other constructs, including birth and death. And then the whole systems of thought also arise: philosophy, religion, mythology, and science. But right now, I think the main thing to understand is that science is almost to the point where it's recognizing that matter is not made of matter. Matter is made of potentialities which are a result of infinite possibilities self-interacting to create experience, and that we are that I am that. That's the real meaning of Tattvam Asi. Tattvam Asi. I am that, you are that, all this is that, that alone is, or the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. It is confusing ourself with world appearance, and that includes world appearance of the body, identifying it ourselves with world appearance, that we lose sight of that which is seen. We lose sight of the infinite, which cannot be seen. Just like Hilbert space cannot be conceptualized, it can only be represented mathematically. It can only be represented mathematically by using symbols. Infinity is a symbol. But right now, all current theories of reality, from eternal inflation to superstring theories to multiverse theories, all these theories are based on infinity as fundamental being. Infinity as fundamental being. And so, when you can be self-referred, which means grounded in infinite being, and see the world as a passing show, including the body-mind is part of the passing show, then you have the experience of what we call flow or transcendence or lightness of being. Lightness of being. The deep understanding that I am an infinite being having a finite experience, that I'm a non-local being having a local experience, that I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And everything that we do, including the teaching of the primordial sound technique and mantra meditation and self-reflection and self-inquiry and awareness of perceptual experiences, awareness of thought, awareness of mental space, awareness of the web of relationship, takes us closer to this deeper understanding of who we really are. So tomorrow I journey to Costa Rica for a 7-day retreat that I will be conducting called the Seduction of Spirit. And I am looking forward to the 7-day retreat. I shall be in touch from there, and I will continue to speak about Advait, which is the deeper understanding of non-duality and our true identity as infinite beings having a finite experience. I see that all of you here are enthusiastic about that. Ramanan Dikshit says, happy journey. Thank you, Ramanan. Alison says, I'm going to swim with the dolphins. Have a great time. And most of you here are already on board. Ramanan Dikshit says, I'm with you all the time. Of course, we are all inseparably one at the deepest level of existence. All fear ultimately is the fear of the unknown, which we try and explain through the known, and that's a mistake. You cannot explain the unknown through the known. You cannot explain the infinite through that which is finite. But you can transcend beyond subject-object split to experience yourself as infinite being, lightness of being, unity consciousness, divine consciousness. Okay, my friends, next time I'll speak to you from Costa Rica. Thank you.